let's just take a look at that, because I think this really articulates, or I think this encapsulates the two camps of Judaism that I think are in a civil war right now inside the United States. And Schmuley is, of course, part of the dominant camp.
Accusing people like my friend Omar of anti-Semitism simply because he wants the freedom of his people. It saddens me to see what people like you have done to the Jewish tradition. The suffering of my family, my great-grandparents perished in the Holocaust. They were murdered by the Nazis. And today, I have to tell you, I see you as the modern day followers of the Nazis, supporting this mass murder campaign in Gaza, putting the people of Gaza in what even Israelis have called a concentration camp. It's the Israeli Jews of today, supported by American Jews, unfortunately, some, that are following in the footsteps of our oppressors. And I hope one day you can connect to your own humanity and the very best of your own tradition, which I believe in, to see just how horrible this modern state, this modern supremacist state, is not only for the Palestinians, but the Jewish people
Aaron,
as well.
you can't seriously be saying that Rabbi Schmuley, one of the most high-profile Jews in the world, is a successor to the Nazis.
Is a Nazi.
I mean, that's a pretty
I am saying
despicable.
that.
That's a pretty despicable thing to say, isn't it?
He supports the mass murder of children in a concentration camp. What else am I supposed to do?
May I
People
respond
being
to that?
put
May I
under a
respond?
I think you
starvation
should
siege.
respond to that.
These
Yeah.
are Nazi
Okay,
tactics.
Aaron,
These are Nazi tactics.
Aaron, notice I have not once offended, used that homonym attacks against Omar or you. I have decided that I'm going to be
That's not
factual.
true.
No,
You called
excuse
him
me. You
anti-Semite.
won't interrupt me.
Calling people
Omar started
anti-Semites is apparently not an ad hominem.
excuse me. Omar started calling me a liar. He wouldn't deal with any facts, a hypocrite. He said I'm drunk on lies, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we call ad hominem, personal attacks. I've seen it whenever, and I debate everybody because I like Pearson. This is why I love the show. I'm also a free speech absolutist. The person you just called a Nazi spent the past year with his friend Ron Dermer, who was condemned by Adam Boehler because of our close relationship from my years as rabbi at Oxford. He was my student president. And Bobby Kennedy Jr., the new HHS Secretary of Health and Human Service, saving 200 Palestinian children who had cancer. Hamas would not let them go to an Israeli hospital because they would kill their families if Israeli hospitals treated them. Shaare Tzedek or Sheba Medical, all of whom agreed to take them. We had to take them to St. Jude's Hospital in Amman. And I helped get them out. And the reason why the Israeli military wanted the kids out, but
What is he talking about?
I have no idea what he was talking about. And
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt because I don't like to do that because I try to be respectful. But I shook my head because I just don't think what he's saying is true. And the only people who deny Palestinian cancer patients the right to leave Gaza is Israel, which lets people die when they have cancer because they won't let them leave for treatment. Not just if they have cancer, but other ailments too, including serious wounds suffered under Israeli bombardment. So I just think he's lying through his teeth there. I haven't looked it up because I just assume he's lying. That's what people like him do. And by the way, later on in the show, he challenged me like which Israelis have called Gaza a concentration camp. And again, not that you need an Israeli stamp of approval on the term to make it valid, to make the point valid that it's a concentration camp. But I'm just saying even Israelis have acknowledged that it's a concentration camp. And so I named two. I said Baruch Kimmerling, a very famous Hebrew University sociologist, and Giora Island, who was a top Israeli general. And Schmuley claimed to have heard of neither of them and said there's no way. I was surprised. You haven't heard of Giora Island? He's a very influential Israeli general. And even he once acknowledged that Gaza is a concentration camp.
Yeah, Giora Island helped design his plan to starve northern Gaza.
Exactly.
He's like, it's a concentration camp, but too much food is getting in.
The number one enemy to the people in Israel are American Jews that do not support Israel and do not support MAGA. Okay, MAGA and the evangelical Christians and the traditional Catholics in this country have Israel's back. They have the Jews' back. The biggest single enemy to the Jewish people are not the Islamic supremacists. The biggest enemy you have is inside the wire. Progressive Jewish billionaires that are funding all this stuff. They are the number one enemy, and the people in Israel have to set that right. Because MAGA has your back, traditional Catholics have your back, and evangelical Christians have your back. We will always have the back of Israel. But I got to tell you, you have an enemy inside the wire.